Hello everyone. In the previous classes, we have seen that a current carrying wire produces magnetic field around it. Today, we will discuss some more concepts based on this fact that whenever a direct current flows through a conductor or a wire, then it produces a magnetic field around it. So let us see the case that suppose it is a wire and it carries a current of I in the upward direction, then from the previous study we know that it will produce magnetic field lines around it or magnetic field around it, and to represent that magnetic field we make magnetic field lines. And for this case, if the wire is straight, we know that magnetic field lines are circular with the wire at the center, and since the current is in the upward direction, then by the law we know that the magnetic field lines will be in the anti-clockwise direction. Now what will happen if I will take the wire as a circular loop? So consider a case that it is a loop and that carries a current of I. So similar to that situation, if this loop carries a current I, then it will also produce a magnetic field around it. Now as you can see that if I will concentrate on the center of this loop, the direction of the current is anti-clockwise, and I told you that from Maxwell's law, if you will rotate the screw in the anti-clockwise direction, then it will come out. It means the direction of the magnetic field at the center is outwards. Or you can say that the magnetic field lines will enter the back surface of this ring and will come out from the front face of the ring. So if I want to draw the magnetic field lines for this, since the magnetic field lines are coming out, so I can draw it like this. These are the magnetic field lines and they are coming out from the front surface of this loop. Similarly, if I will draw another loop in which the direction of current is clockwise, then by the rule, if you will find out the direction of magnetic field at the center, then it will be into the board. It means the magnetic field lines will enter from the front surface and will go on the back side. So in that case, if I need to draw the magnetic field lines, it will be something like this. So the magnetic field lines are entering from this surface and leaving the back surface. So this is the difference of the magnetic field lines when the current in the loop is anti-clockwise or the clockwise. Now the similar kind of magnetic field lines patterns are seen in case of bar magnets. Magnetic field lines of the bar magnet, then the pattern is something like this only. It means that a current carrying coil behaves like a bar magnet. If I will increase the number of turns in this coil, it will behave like a strong magnet, and if the numbers are less, then it will behave like a small or weak magnet. But the behavior of this current carrying loop is very similar to the, or you can say it is identical to a bar magnet. And now, since we know that a bar magnet has two poles, south pole and north pole, so this coil must have south pole and the north pole. In the first case, if you can see, when the magnetic field lines are coming out from this face, then the front face behaves like a north pole. So if the current is in the anti-clockwise direction, the front face will behave like a north pole, and we know that for a north pole the magnetic field lines originate, so this is the north pole. Now in this case, when the current in the loop is in the clockwise direction, the front face behaves like a south pole, and you know that the magnetic field lines enters from the south pole. Now, as monopoles cannot exist, so what I said that this face will behave like a south pole, and you know that this coil must have another face, and that face will behave like a north pole. Similarly, if the front face of this coil is behaving like a north pole, then the back face of this coil, if you will imagine it, then for the back surface of the back face of this coil, the current will be in the clockwise direction, and that back surface will behave like a south pole. So current carrying coil behaves like a bar magnet, and both the faces behave, one face behave like a south pole and other behaves like a north pole. So this is how a current carrying coil is equivalent to a bar magnet. Now I will define a quantity that is related to a bar magnet, or you can say current carrying coil, and that is the magnetic moment, and it is very similar to the electric dipole moment that we have studied in electric field. So in electric field, you know that a dipole, electric dipole, has electric dipole moment. Similarly, in the magnetic effect of current, in magnetism, a current carrying coil that behaves like a bar magnet has some magnetic moment too. So just see the situation that it is a coil, and in this coil the current is in anti-clockwise direction. So if the current is in the anti-clockwise direction, then you know that this face will behave like a north pole, because the current is in the anti-clockwise direction, and the magnetic field lines will be something like this. They will enter from here and they will come out from this face, since it is behaving like a north pole. Consider the radius of this loop is r, and if you can see that it is almost the center of this circular coil, so this is the normal, so I can also write it as area vector. So I is the amount of current, A is the area vector that is normally outwards. So if I will multiply the current with the area vector, I will get the magnetic moment, a new quantity. This is magnetic moment of this dipole, magnetic dipole basically, because my coil is behaving like a magnetic dipole. Now the direction of M is definitely in the direction of A, because I is a scalar quantity, so the direction of magnetic moment in this case will be in this direction, or you can say the direction in which this magnetic dipole is producing the magnetic field at this point. So the direction of M and A both are same. If I will see the magnitude, then it can be written as I, A and A cap, where A cap is the unit vector in the direction of area vector. Now area of this coil can be pi of r square and A cap. So this is the formula to calculate the magnetic moment of a circular coil, and if I need the magnitude, only magnitude, that is M, then it will be simply IA or pi r square, that is the area, times the current. So this is how we can find out the magnetic moment of a current carrying coil. And remember that this current carrying coil has some magnetic moment, and that is defined by M equals to IA. The direction of magnetic moment is in the direction of area vector. Now if I will compare it once again from the electrostatics, then when my electric dipole was placed in electric field, it experiences a torque. Similarly, if I will place my magnetic dipole moment or a bar magnet or a current carrying coil, in a magnetic field, then definitely it will experience a torque, and that is very similar to the electrostatics. So let us consider a situation where this is the magnetic dipole moment of a magnetic dipole or a current carrying loop, you can say, and if I will place this in an external magnetic field B that makes angle theta from the direction of magnetic moment, then it will experience a torque, and that is M cross B. And that is very similar if I would assume that there is a dipole moment and this is electric field, then we know that torque was P cross E. Similarly here, if I will replace my electric dipole with a magnetic dipole and I will place my magnetic dipole in external magnetic field at an angle theta, then the torque will be M cross B. That is very similar to the earth. And if you find out the direction, then this is a cross product, so you know you have to move from M to B, and M to B is a clockwise, and for clockwise the direction is into the board. So this is the direction of the torque that will act on this dipole. On the other hand, if I will change the direction of magnetic moment of my dipole, and if I will take it like this, in that case, if we will go from M to B, it is a anti-clockwise, and for anti-clockwise the direction is outwards. So the direction of the torque in this case will be M cross B, but the direction is outwards in this case. And of course, if you will multiply these two, we can write it like M B sine theta and n cap. So for the maximum value of torque, your theta must be 90 degree. It means if your dipole, magnetic dipole is placed normal to the magnetic field, then in that case the torque experienced will be maximum. Just like this is a coil we have taken just before, this was the I, so in that case the magnetic moment was in the upward direction. So this is the direction of magnetic moment, and if I will place this loop in this magnetic field that is normal to the direction of M, then the torque will be MB sine 90, that is maximum, and that is M. And if you want the direction, then M to B is a clockwise, so for clockwise the direction is into the board, and into the board means this is the direction of torque. So this is the direction of torque that will act on this dipole. So this is how the torque acts on a current carrying coil or magnetic dipole. Now we will discuss the torque that will act on a current carrying loop when it is placed in magnetic field. We have just seen that, but I will take a rectangular loop in place of circular loop. So let us calculate the torque that will act when a rectangular current carrying loop is placed in external magnetic field. So for producing magnetic field, we will take bar magnets. So these are two bar magnets that will produce magnetic field here. This is North Pole, and I will take the other one here, and this is South Pole. So this is a bar magnet that will produce a magnetic field, and of course the direction of magnetic field is from North to South Pole. Now I will place a coil here, and such that the coil is something rotated like this. So this is my coil, and this is the axis that is not exactly perpendicular to B, and this is the axis of the coil. This is the direction of magnetic field, and consider that I current flows in the anti-clockwise direction like this, and I will name the arm as PQRS. So first of all, we will see that what is the difference in like keeping the coil at some angle and not perpendicular to B as shown here, and I will discuss it with you simultaneously. Suppose this is the case when my coil is placed like this. This is the magnetic field and this is my coil PQRS. The current is flowing like this, I, and this is the axis of my coil axis. Now first of all, I will see this arm. So in that case, if you will see here, the current is in this direction, the magnetic field is also in this direction, and when I and B are in the same direction, then the force on this arm is 0. Similarly, if you will see here, at this point the current is in left, the magnetic field is towards right, so there is an angle of 180, and once again the force acting here is 0. So if I will place my coil like this, that is perpendicular, then the force on RS arm and QPR will be 0 because the angle will be either 0 degree or 180 degree. But here, if you can see, this is the direction of magnetic field, this is the direction of magnetic field, and that is making some angle from the arm. Here, if you can see, this is the direction of magnetic field and this is current, so there is some angle here. In that case, if I will see this situation, then you have to move from I to B to find out the force, and for I to B, if you will move, then it is going to be I to be like this, then the force will be in this direction, that is downwards. So this is the force PQ on this arm, because there is an angle theta between these two. Similarly, if you will go at here, the direction of current is towards left and the magnetic field is B, so this is the angle, and if you will find the direction of force, that will be in this direction, that is the force on QSR. Now these two forces are equal and just on the same line of action. So this is the line, both forces are equal and opposite, so the net of these two forces will be 0. If you will calculate it for here, for a small arm, for here, then those forces will act equal and opposite and along the same line. That's why the sum of the forces that will act on PQ and this is RS will be 0. Now for this case, if you can see, this is the direction of magnetic field here and the current is downwards. So in that case, if you will apply the law, then I cross B is anti-clockwise, and for anti-clockwise you know that the force is towards outside, so this is the force that will act on this arm PS, that is outward force like this. But for this arm, at this point, if you can see, for this small length, you can see B is in this direction, current is upwards, and if you will go from I to B, it is a clockwise, the force will be into the board, and this is the direction of the force on QR. So in my coil, the resultant of the forces that are acting on PQ and RS is 0, but here the forces are acting in the opposite directions. Let us see the values of these forces. So we know that F equals I L cross B. So this is going to be I, L means the length, that is L. I have not taken the length, I will take the length of this coil as L. This is the length L, and the breadth of this rectangular coil is B. So this is LB, and the angle is 90 degree. So the force is ILB, and that is the maximum force. The same force will act on PS and the same force will act on RQ in magnitude, but the directions are different. As you know that this force is out of the board and this force is into the board. So this is the force on PS and this is exactly the force on QR, but the magnitude of forces are equal. Now you can understand this in a very simple way like this, that suppose this is the magnetic field from left side to right side like this, and this is the L. If I will place my rectangular coil this like here, then the magnetic field and the current is perpendicular. If I will rotate it, once again current is upwards, magnetic field is towards right. So if you will rotate by any angle, in each case magnetic field B and the I is in the perpendicular direction. So the force that will act on these two arms is 100% maximum, and the theta will always be 90. Now in this case my coil is placed like this. So this is the magnetic field and the coil is placed like this. But in this situation my coil is not placed like this, it is something like this. And that is the difference. This is the case that I have shown here, and my coil is placed something like this. So what will happen in that case, I will tell you. Similarly, if you can see here, this is the magnetic field B and I cross B. This is the force that will act outwards, and here this is the current, this is the magnetic field. So the direction of I to B is clockwise, so force is in the inward direction, and the sum of these two forces is 0. Now what is the basic idea here? That if we will once again consider the coil, one force, that is this force, it is acting in the downward direction. I told you this is into the board, so the force on this arm is into the board, that is like this, and on this arm it is out of the board. So what will happen if one force is acting in the inward direction, one is acting in the outward direction? So these forces will try to rotate this coil, and if you can see the rotation, the rotation is in this direction like this. So these two forces will try to rotate the coil. If I will get the net force on these two, it is definitely 0, because the both forces are equal in magnitude and opposite direction. So the sum of these two forces will also be equal to 0. But these two forces are not acting along the same line. So if the forces are equal and opposite, but they are not acting on the same line, then they produces a torque. I will tell you here, just consider the case. This is a rod. One force is acting upward, other force is acting in the downward direction. Both are equal and opposite. So net force is 0. And torque is also 0. But if I will rotate this arm, and this force F continues to act in the upward direction, this force continues to act in the downward direction. Now the force is 0, but since the line of action of both the forces are not along the same line, so the torque is not 0 in this case. And that is the difference here. So in this case, these two are the forces, but they are not acting on the same line of action, so they will produce a turning effect, and that is measured in terms of torque. And in that case, the distance between the forces is this. This is the perpendicular distance between the forces, and that concept we will use here. So there are two forces that are equal and opposite, but they are not acting on the same line, because my coil is not placed like this. My coil is placed like this, or in this case also the force is this in the inward direction, this is in the outward direction. So in that case, these two forces have this distance that is equal to B for this case. So the distance between the forces will be B if I will place my coil like this, but I told you that my coil is placed something like this. So in that case, we need to find out the distance between these two forces. So to find out the torque, we need force and perpendicular distance between the forces. So if you will see at this point, the torque will act something like this. The magnetic field is here and there is an angle between these two. This is because my coil is placed at some angle. So force is, we know, this is I, B, F, and now we need the perpendicular distance between the forces. So let us see the situation. I will draw it here. I'm going to remove this because this is not of any use now. This is a line. This is the side view. This was the direction of my magnetic field. This was the torque that was acting on this dipole, and this is the arm B. One force is into the board and one force is out of the board. So I told you, if I need the perpendicular distance between this, I actually need this distance. This is the perpendicular distance. So for that, if this angle is theta, then you know that this angle will also be theta from the geometry. And if this angle is theta, then this component, or you can see this arm from the trigonometry, you can easily calculate this is B sin theta. So the perpendicular distance between the forces in that case, because I am taking a general case, is B sin theta. This is my B sin theta. I am just taking the magnitude of the torque, and you know that L cross B is nothing but the area. So I can write torque as IB. L cross B is the area in sin theta, and as I told you that I and A, if you will multiply, you will get the magnetic moment, and the symbol for magnetic moment is M. So this is going to be MB sin theta, or in vector form I can write M cross B. So the overall formula is same. Either you will take the rectangular coil or you will take a circular coil, and that will be M cross B. The difference is that the rectangular coil you will calculate area by L into B, and in case of circular coil the area is pi r square. So this is the way how you can find out the torque that will act on a rectangular coil that is placed at some angle theta, or you can say that the plane of coil is not exactly in that same direction of B, it is something at any angle. So let us summarize that. Suppose it is a rectangular loop, the current in the loop is in the anti-clockwise direction. So for that case, the magnetic moment will be in the upward direction. And if I will place this loop in external magnetic field B, that is in the same direction of the magnetic moment, then the torque will be MB sin 0, and the torque is going to be minimum. So if your plane is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field, then the torque experienced by the loop is minimum. On the other hand, if I will place my loop like this, that this is the magnetic moment and the magnetic field is like this. So in that case, the angle between the external magnetic field and the magnetic moment of my dipole is 90 degree, and in that case, if you can see from formula, that torque will be maximum and that will be MB. So if the plane of the coil is placed perpendicular to magnetic field, then the torque is minimum, and if the plane of the coil or loop is placed parallel to magnetic field, then the torque acting on it will be maximum.